Welcome back to a new video. I'm in my car. I don't have anywhere to put my camera. I woke up at like 6 in the morning starving. I don't know if this happens to anyone else. I will sometimes eat at like 5 p.m. or something and then not eat for the rest of the night, and then I'll wake up at 6 in the morning like ravenous, like a wild animal. And I thought it was a good idea to like make a bagel with eggs and bacon and spinach, and like at the time it tasted great. Like went right back to sleep right after. Like I ate, I went back to my bed, I fell right back asleep, and then I woke up and I felt like I was gonna throw up. I am now getting coffee because I want to be in more stomach pain. I asked questions on my Instagram story. I asked you guys to ask me like personal questions, the most requested questions about like my personal life, and turn them into 10 facts about me. Let's get right into it. So a really popular question was, where did you grow up? What was your childhood like? How were your parents? First of all, guys, I'm 18 years old if you didn't know that, so I'm still a child. I still live with my family, I still live in my house, but I'm technically an adult. So I grew up in Los Angeles. I've lived in the same house my entire life. I've never had to move. I've never experienced that. The only thing close to moving that I have had to go through is when my parents got divorced. My parents got divorced like a month after I turned 5 years old, so I was very, very young. And I don't really have any memories of like my family being together, which is like sort of odd, but it is what it is, you know, childhood trauma at its finest. My dad had me every Wednesday and every other weekend. He had both my brother and I have a brother, if anyone didn't know that. Honestly, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, I hated it. You have to separate your time between your parents, especially growing up. It can be really challenging and it can be really difficult, and if that's something that you've had to go through or that's something that you're currently going through, I feel for you. My dad is French. He was born and raised in France. My grandparents are French. I grew up speaking French. I'm bilingual. I know French, I know English, and I know a little bit of Arabic, but that is a choice. We'll get there in a second. And on my maternal side, I have Lebanese, a mix of Lebanese and American. The Lebanese part of me is something that I think really, really, really shines through in what I'm passionate about. I will get to this, but keep in mind, Lebanon is in the Middle East. So that's fact number 2. I'm French, Lebanese, and American. What led you to be so politically involved at such a young age? 95% of the questions had to do with my political activism and my keenness on involving politics in my life at such a young age. It started when I was 12 years old. My brother is a genius. He blows me away every single day. Every single time I have a conversation with him, I sit there and I'm like, this shit is hard. So my brother and my mom would always have political discussions at the dinner table. They would just go off. They would have full-on discussions. Keep in mind he was probably 14 at the time and I was 12. They would have lengthy discussions at the dinner table, and I felt like I had absolutely nothing to contribute, and me being a really competitive person, it didn't mesh well. So I had a really, really, really intense urge to learn about politics so I could just quite literally had nothing to do with anything but being able to outshine my brother in front of my mom to get like better cred. I don't even know. So I took it upon myself to learn about politics. I started by talking to my friends. They didn't know anything about what's going on in the world, which I'm not gonna blame them. We were 12 years old. We were in 6th grade. Like, most 6th graders have no idea about politics, and that's very normal. So I went to my friends. Couldn't really gather any meaningful information. Sorry to any of my 6th grade friends, love you, but that was just the fact. I decided to take it upon myself to do extensive research and learn about politics. And once I started doing that, I actually realized the political sphere was something that I was really interested in, and this was sort of difficult. Whoa! So I sort of went with that, and I sort of also went with the idea that it's really hard for young people like myself at the time to be able to read a news article and actually understand what it's saying and have all the basic facts so that they're knowledgeable enough to have a good understanding on the topic. I started this platform called the 2-Minute Times. It's a newsletter that I send out every single Sunday, that I have been sending out every single Sunday since I was 12 years old, basically summarizing the top headlines. So I take the 5 top stories that I think are most important and break it down into 5 to 7 sentences so that young people read up on, understand, and really know the news. I was doing it for a good 5.5 years with under 1,000 subscribers, and then I started growing on social media, and every week I'd get like 10,000 more subscribers. And when I tell you it was the best feeling in the whole world, it's one thing to like grow on social media and see all these people loving you, and like that itself is an incredible feeling. But when you see people start to really love what you put your heart and soul into and get inspired by it, it is the most rewarding thing and most accomplishing feeling I think I've ever felt in my whole life. So if you want to subscribe to 2 Minute Times, that is linked below. Okay, so the next question is about modeling. I am this weird breed of like model and political person, which is not something you come across often, and I hope that we can start to change that more, because I do think it's important that girls who are beautiful and confident and love themselves can also be smart and intelligent and empowering. I think that's something, a stereotype that we need to break and we need to keep working on. Can we just freaking normalize that beautiful girls can be really freaking smart and inspiring? Let's normalize that, because a lot of us are. I started modeling when I was 15 years old. I signed with Ford Models, originally Ford Models in LA, when I was 15 years old. Very soon after, my agent, who was at Ford, left the agency and was like, come with me, I want to take you to the new agency I'm working at. And I was like, I didn't know anything about modeling at the time, so I was like, okay, dope, let's go. I went to a new agency called LA Models. I'm currently in the process of switching agencies, which you guys will soon find out about. Modeling is a very interesting job to throw yourself into when you are a teenager. It can be very intense and very, very, very harsh on your self-esteem. They basically evaluate the way that you look and decide if you are good enough for their campaign, which if you don't have a strong enough sense of personal validation, that can be incredibly difficult. And for me, it was incredibly difficult. Something that really, really, really helped me recognize my own beauty and my own worth, believing that who I was on the inside is beautiful. And for me, that came through politics and studying and challenging myself and becoming curious. Me falling in love with politics and foreign affairs, and I'll get to this later, but Middle Eastern foreign affairs specifically, made me realize that who I am on the inside is so important and so valuable, because I nurtured myself from within and gave myself validation from within, that I was able to see I'm freaking beautiful on the outside too. You know, I'm beautiful on the inside and the outside, and that really came from pushing myself to develop my character. Did you ever get bullied for your weight, and how did you become more confident? I love you. I love you too. Yes, I did. I was a chunky child. Pictured right here, I was a chunky child. I have struggled with my weight from a very, very, very young age. I still struggle with my weight and body image issues, but it started with just the fact that I was really excluded from a lot of things just purely because I was fat. Like, I was always picked last in sports, whatever. I was never really invited to hang out, to like go to a pool party or whatever. What resulted from having people treat me differently because I was fat was the really, really strong and sudden desire to lose weight. I was not intellectually mature enough to recognize how to lose weight in a healthy way, and I developed a pretty severe eating disorder, which I struggled with basically all throughout the second half of my 8th grade year and the remainder of my 9th grade year. Soon enough, I was able to like understand how to lose weight in a healthy way, but the sad reality is a lot of that stems from the social standards of beauty. The normalization of different body types in the media is the most important thing that we've seen from people speaking out about this in recent years. I think it's phenomenal. I think normalizing body types is super important.
My audio cut out, like severely cut out for I don't know how long. Good 5 minutes of talking. So we're just going to have to deal with that. I don't know what's happening. So just roll with me on this one.
For me, it was really all about time management. I set time allotted for filming, for posting, for being on social media, and I set a lot of time allotted for working on my college applications, getting my work done, keeping my grades up. School is very, 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 very important to me. I think education is the #1 thing that drives our society. I think it is incredibly important for everyone to be educated. It's the only way we can live in a well-functioning society, is by having educated citizens. I am going to Georgetown in the fall. It has been my dream school ever since I was in like 8th grade. Literally, if you have known me personally, you know that Georgetown was my dream school for the longest time. Because of the whole COVID-19 situation, I'm actually going to be staying in LA, which I'm honestly really happy about. I wasn't ready to leave home. Dream job. So here's where I talk about the Middle East. I have a very intense, deep connection to Middle Eastern politics. I don't know what it is. I cannot get enough. I love reading about Middle Eastern politics, Middle Eastern foreign affairs. I love reading treaties. I love reading documents that the US has in relation to Iran. Like, I wrote a paper on the Iran deal and I'm gonna write a whole like thesis on it just in my own free time. I freaking love the Middle East, guys. If you're hanging out with me and you see me like on my phone, you'll see me reading an article about like something happening in the Middle East right now. I started taking Arabic my junior year, just outside of school, just on my own time, and I'm gonna be taking Arabic as a minor in college, and I'm gonna be majoring in the Middle East, like Middle Eastern affairs in college as well. The goal is to work at a private corporation, like a think tank, where I can actually write policy for the Middle East. Okay, last question. Are you introverted or extroverted? I think I'm mostly introverted. Like, I really enjoy being alone, and being around people gives me social anxiety. If you have social anxiety, join the club, because I have social anxiety. If I'm comfortable around someone, I am extremely extroverted. I'm hyper, I'm loud, I'm annoying. But if I'm really not comfortable around you, I shrivel up, I'm super shy. Okay guys, so that is it for the video. I am so sorry I never freaking post, but I'm gonna post more, I promise. I swear on my life. I'm pinky promising you right now. Pinky promise with me. Please subscribe, turn the notification bell on. I love you. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you for supporting me.